Today we're going to be doing something very different. Today we're going to be ranking every single update of Anime Vanguard starting from release all the way to update 4.5 to really go take a look at the history of Anime Vanguards, but also kind of review the past of Anime Vanguards, the bad updates, the good updates, and all that other stuff. By the way, if you want to show your support to the channel, then all you really have to do is click that like and subscribe button. We are kind of close to 50k subscribers, and at 50k subscribers, to celebrate this goal, we're going to be doing a giveaway on the pinned comment in their Discord down below. Please subscribe if you want to see more of this content. It will really help the channel out a lot. So yeah, subscribe and let's get started. Okay, so this is our tier list right here. And it's gonna be pretty interesting, okay? Because the way we're gonna do it is we're gonna be dividing these updates into the best updates, which in my opinion is the top of the top, the best updates of Anime Vanguards. Then good updates, which is updates that are, you know, not really the best updates, but they're great updates and is pretty fun to play. Then there are the mid updates, which is the updates that isn't necessarily the worst, but updates that are not really that fun anymore, so they're kind of not that great. And then there's bad, which is the bad updates. And then we're going to add a row below, and this is going to be called the worst, because there is a clear winner for the worst update in the entirety of Anime Vanguards. So we have the release update, and for the release update, this is update 0, basically the game that started this out in Anime Vanguards. We're gonna have to put it at good. So the reason why it's at good is because this is basically them just starting. People were just starting to get into it. There wasn't really that many bugs. There really wasn't that many bad additions yet. There weren't really that many stuff to complain about, but there also really wasn't that many stuff to, you know, really like or love about Anime Vanguards. Apart from the fact that if you compare Anime Vanguards from all these other games, Anime Vanguards had the most amount of quality of life features. Anime Vanguards has some of the best models. Anime Vanguards has some of the best VFX and animations and whatnot. Anime Vanguards was pretty great, so it deserves its spot at good. But then there is update 0.5, which is the update that came after the raids update, and this is going to be our first mid-category update. And the reason for this is because update 0.5 of Anime Vanguards released 2 weeks after the update, or sorry, after the release, and it added raids and all that stuff, so it was kind of nice. It really didn't add that many stuff in Anime Vanguards. I mean, it added raids and all that stuff, but the units weren't the best. The only unit that I think was good from update 0.5 was Tucker Uda. Yeah, he was a farm in update 0.5. But apart from Tucker Uda, we also have Tengen, I believe. That was the only really good unit from update 0.5. So it's not really bad, but it's also not really anything good. Then the update that came after this one is the JJK update, which in my opinion is a great update, a good update. It's gonna be, in my opinion, better than update 0 or release update, and also significantly better than the update that came before it. And this is because update 1, despite the fact that it had hit or miss units, like for example Gojo's passive, I'm gonna be prepared to behold the most interesting passive in all of Anime Vanguards. Strongest sorcerer, damage plus 20%, bro, come on. But then there's also units like Toji, who is a unique unit. Toji for a while was really good for shields and all that stuff, so Toji was a pretty unique unit. But the problem here is update 1, it showed Sukuna in the trailer, but didn't even release Sukuna till one update later. But overall, it was a good update. Update 1.1 is gonna be going to bad because this update took 2 weeks to release. So imagine this, right? Sukuna was shown in the update 1 trailer, but he was only released after 2 weeks in a separate update, the boss rush update for Sukuna. The good thing about this though is that the quality for Sukuna's boss rush was relatively decent, but it barely added anything, so because of that, it's gonna go to the bad category. Then the update that followed it is 100% the worst update in the entirety of Anime Vanguard's history, the infamous Dawn the Dawn update. And the reason why update 1.5 is very bad, I'm gonna explain it right here. Horrible grind for horrible units, and it introduced Vanguards, well, with Diavolo. But the problem with them introducing Vanguards like Diavolo in update 1.5, this was the old dev team. And during update 1.5, the implementation of Diavolo and Vanguards just wasn't all that great. I believe the old dev team's mentality with the Vanguard units are they're supposed to be trophy units, right? So they were basically not going to be the top of the top meta units. And then Diavolo or Vanguard units during this update was significantly harder to get than the Vanguard that's gonna come later. It did add skins and familiars, which is pretty good. Skins and familiars is pretty great, but the grind and the units was just so bad in this update. The grind for the units in this update was, I think, 30 minutes for like 10 spins or less than 10 spins even. And even once you get those units, they're all so bad. Like literally, the meta units from update 1 are kind of better than the units that was added in update 1.5. Sorry, the Steel Ball Run update, and for me this is gonna be a bad update. And the reason for this is because it's the same as update 1.5, except there's no Vanguard unit and the grind is way less tedious. The units are still all irrelevant though, and for these updates, I mean, the reason why you're waiting for an update is because you're waiting to get the new units. And if the new units are terrible and units from previous updates are still better, then what's the point, right? So the updates in the units in 1.75, in my opinion, they were all kind of mid. A lot of the units in update 1.75 are not that good, and so that kind of does reduce this update spot in my opinion. But the grind for the units are much less worse than the grind for the units in update 1.5. This is the good update again, a good update again with update 2. So the reason why is because there was an addition of new interesting game mode, world lines. They reworked some maps, and then they added a bunch of really great quality of life features in Update 2. So some of the things that they added in Update 2 was Essence Stone dismantling, which is really great, being able to dismantle Essence Stones. Unit normalizing, you can normalize shiny units for 5 rerolls, which is another F2P addition. Essence Stone limit increased. Earning gold from infinite before was not a thing. Now if you do infinite a lot, you can earn a ton of gold. They removed the cap of 800 gems in infinite. They also have great units that are still meta to this day. For example, Saber, Archer, Kukuchulain, whatever his name is, or Lancer, Gilgamesh. A lot of the units in Update 2 are still meta or not really meta, but still relevant in today's meta. So for that reason, I do believe that this deserves to be good. Update 2, this is really the top of good in my opinion. Then here comes the new dev team. Now with the addition of the new dev team, there is a change in how the units work. There is a change in how they do these updates, and you are gonna see that in this tier list as well. So far, every single update that we have talked about from the release update to all the way to update 2, these are all made by the old dev team, except for update 2. I believe update 2 was in part made by the new dev team, but every update here was pretty much made by the old dev team. And then here comes, after update 2, a new development team enters, and here is when we're really gonna start to see things change. So we have update 3, instantly gonna go to the best, and the reason why update 3 is amazing, they added a new Vanguard, which is Gogeta, but their implementation of Gogeta is much better. Sorry if I can't speak right now, but their ideology, or how they wanted to Vanguard units to work in update 3 with the new dev team, is since they're super hard to get, they're gonna be very, very, very worth it. But even though it is a Vanguard unit, they actually made the grind for this unit significantly easier. They added a new game mode called Portals, which is a much more fun grind than the hellish grind that update 1.5 gave us for Diabolo. Then apart from that, they also made the currency that you need for the Vanguard unit able to be AFK'd in AFK chamber. So this is very player friendly. They actually added a bunch of quality of life features as well. I believe they made boss event cycle in update 3, which means every week there's gonna be a new boss event. They also redesigned the lobby with update 3. You know, the new lobby that we have right now was made in update 3. They added unit XP fusing, which is again another quality of life feature, and they changed the health system into stocks, which is gonna be used later. And overall, update 3 just added so much, and it was a great update. Then we come with update 3.5. You know what, I'm gonna put this right here, and the reason why is because it added a lot of stuff. They reworked boss events, now making boss events doable with other players, and they also added a tournament for boss events. They have a high quality boss event in the form of Salter, They also made the boss event restock, the boss event shop restock, which basically means that you can get 40 rerolls per week, which is insane for F2P. They added public matchmaking, they added a new world lines unit, and overall the insane F2P changes they add in this update puts this update at the top in my opinion. Then after that, we have the update 4 update, which in my opinion is better than the update 3. Update 4 added a bunch of new stuff again. So they added a ton of new units, around 12 units. But the difference here is all of the units that they added in this update was actually pretty great. There is 5 meta units in update 4, and those are Aizen, Yuhaba, Yamamoto, then Lucy, because Lucy's Nullify is amazing, then Ichigo, which is again another top meta unit. So pretty much every unit that they added in the top 5 or in the update 4 of Anime Vanguards were all amazing. The passives of the units are pretty great. They also added a new game mode in Rifts, they added a new story mode, new love portals, and a new battle pass. And this battle pass introduced Lucy and David, which are both pretty amazing units. They also revamped the cosmetic system, which actually allows you to create a ton of pretty awesome cosmetics, like as you guys can see right here. But I really think what makes update 4 so good is the fact that update 4 has the best amount of units. They added so many good units in update 4 that I really enjoyed it, because pretty much every unit that they added in update 4 are units that you want to go for because they're all pretty good. Then the last one is the latest update, and this is going to be going to the best. It's gonna be slightly below Gogeta, and the reason why it is gonna be here, despite the fact that this only has 3 units and it's a pretty small update. They added Sung Jinwoo, which is a Vanguard unit, currently the strongest unit in the game. They added this unit as an F2P unit, which means not only can you guarantee get him with a grind, the grind is pretty long, but you can guarantee get him still, but he is the best unit. He works with any trait except for Solar. He works well with Ethereal, Deadeye, Monarch, except for Solar. He's the literal definition of a perfect unit. They added new game mode in dungeons. And then apart from that, the most insane thing ever, the most free-to-play thing ever was added in Anime Vanguards in the form of bounties. Bounties allow you to get 10 rerolls per day, and people still forget about this, but you can get 10 rerolls per day in bounties. Actually, it's not 10 rerolls per day. This is 10 rerolls every 10 hours, I believe. So technically, you could get 20 rerolls in a single day. It's kind of crazy, honestly. So you could get a ton of rerolls in bounties, and it basically gives you a reason to play. I have so much rerolls right now thanks to bounties and boss rush, and for that reason alone, update 4.5 is going to be great. Obviously, Sung Jinwoo Vanguard is a very in-depth unit, but apart from that, the bounties is an amazing change. It's a free-to-play change. One thing that I want to show here is the concurrent player of Anime Vanguards. So this is around the time before update 3, and I want you guys to see this. Update 3, boom in players. Update 3.5, boom in players. Update 4, I believe, which is around right here, another boom in players. So this was 3, 3.5, then I believe our update 4 was around right here. So update 4, there was a massive boom in players, then update 4.5, there was a massive boom in players as well. And then this right here was about a week after update 4.5. Essentially what I'm trying to say right here is the updates that was made by the new developer team are so good that they pretty much brought Anime Vanguards back from the dead. And also, if you're gonna notice right here, all the updates made by the new dev team are in the top of the tier list. This right here is made by the new dev team. These 5 right here, and all the updates made by the old dev team are like all the way down here. And I guess it really just does go show which is the better development team. Anyways, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Forget to like and sub, and peace out.